Where we left off last time is we were able to get everything moving. The snakes, we have the apples, we're able to eat them. The snake will increase in length as we do that, and we have a scoreboard as well that works. So as we eat this now, let's see, bam, bam, you'll notice that the snake is getting longer, but what you also notice is that I can go back and forth here. We kind of really don't want that, and we'll take care of that. But for this video, what we're going to do is we're going to give the player the option to go back and replay the game if you would like to. So if I go off the screen, right now everything just kind of quits, and then, that's pretty much it. They'll have to go back up here, and they'll have to run it, and that's just kind of inconvenient, because a real game doesn't really do that, right? It gives you the option to replay. So how we're going to do that is, do you remember in the beginning when we were writing out our template and we were creating the game loop, we had a game exit, all right? And we've been using that, but we never really used the game over. So what we're going to do is in this main loop, right? So there's like the main loop of the game, and then this is we're going to create another while loop within the main loop, and this is just going to be specific for when we want to replay the game or give the player a choice. So while game over is equal to true, okay, so this we're going to save this, and we're going to say if the player, I should rewrite this on top actually because I have to keep it consistent, right? If the player loses and wants to replay, we're going to have it so that now let's think what happens. Okay, once the game is over and it enters this while loop, okay, it's not going to keep everything the way it was. We want to display a whole new image. So we're going to say screen.fill, and we're going to make a new screen that's going to display white, right? Now, why would this be necessary? Well, if you're playing a game that has a lot of things going on, and you were to enter this loop without a new screen, it's going to just show everything exactly where you died, and sometimes it'll be all over the place. So by clearing out and making a whole new screen, it's just more organized. It's easier for the user to see what it is that they want to do, and it's also easier to just program and just see things very clearly. So screen.fill white. After that, we're going to call upon our message to screen. Okay, this was the function we had here. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this because I always forget what the arguments I'm passing are. So there you go. I just lost my word exactly where it was. Where was I? Right here. Okay, so the text is I'm going to still display the score, right? And I'm going to keep that in black. The font size, we'll keep it at 24, and the position, we'll keep it at 25. I believe I think that's what it was before, right? Or was it like I think it was 30 and 20. Let's keep it consistent. Then I'll do that again. We're gonna play text. Text is gonna be game over in all caps. Okay. Our color that we're gonna choose is red. The font size is, well, if this is a game over, we want this to really be there, so let's make it like 50. And the Y position, that's vertically, we're going to just put this right in the middle, which is going to be height divided by 2. Okay. After that, we will do another display, and we'll say if you want, no, not if you, right? How about just press space, or press the space bar if you want to replay. Okay, and we'll do this as, hopefully we won't like blue. That's cool. Let's do 30. Now I'm gonna go back to the middle of the screen. Okay. Now I know that when I go to the middle of the screen, that's gonna say game over, which is with a font size of 50, right? So I'm gonna go a little below that. So if I'm at 400 right now, then I can start at 450. So let's do maybe plus 100 for that. And then after that, we'll say, let's do this right here, or press Q. Okay. Now notice that for this one, I have double quotes and I have single quotes here, right? Now, for the most part, they don't matter. But when you want to put a word in quotes inside of a string, it matters. And that's why most of the time I always use a double whenever I want to make a string, because sometimes I always make that mistake of, if I want to put something in actual quotes, then it just ends up wrong. See, like if I were to put this as this, okay, what's going to happen is that you'll see that it literally thinks that this is the string and that this is going to be something else, maybe like a variable or something, right? So, or press Q if you want to quit. And we'll do this also in blue here. We'll make this maybe like 160. All right. And then the final thing is that we need to do pygame.display.update. So we're going to update everything, all those images to the screen. And after that, we need to check for the events, right? Because we want to give them opportunities to either exit out immediately, or to press Q and quit, or to press the space bar and replay the game. So I'm going to say for event in pygame.event.get, okay, if event.type, so if the type of event is a key down event, okay, so it's like you're getting a list of all the events, then you're getting a list of the ones that are key downs, then you're even becoming even more specific if it's a specific type. So if the event.key is pygame.k underscore, now what did we say here? We wanted to use Q. Okay, what do we want to do? We can do, well, we want, first of all, we want to exit out of the current loop. The current loop is this game over, and so this loop only works if game over is true. So then we'll set game over equal to false. Then we'll have to exit out of this guy right here, right? This is the game exit. So right now, if we say right now game exit is false, right? So that while not false means true. So to exit out of that, we can just set this equal to true. So when it goes back around, it's going to literally say while not true, which is false. Great, exit. Then we can say pygame.quit. And then I actually use this sometimes, system.exit. And this will be everything to if the person presses Q, the Q on the keypad. Now what I also kind of forgot to do is I'm just going to make a space up here. And I like to always put this first anyway. If event type is equal to pygame.QUIT, right? So if they hit that little red button on the top left, we're going to give them the exact same instructions. So literally the exact same instructions are going to go there, right? Make sure everything is indented properly. So if they hit the red button, same exact thing. If they press a key down, if that key is Q, the same requirements or the same things that we'll do so that it also quits. If, however, the event.key is equal to pygame.k underscore space, that's what we're going to use for a space bar, okay? Then what would happen? Well, in order to rerun the game, we have to call the function that's responsible for running the game. So we're going to say game loop. Okay, now why is it that we don't have to do any of these things? Well, if you call this definition, okay, it's going to go all the way up here, and it's going to automatically, when you call it, set this everything back to the original initialized values. So it's going to set everything to false, false, 0, and like it's a blank slate. Okay, now if I try to run this, there's going to be some issues. Okay, so let's see what one of the issues are going to be. All right, well, computer's so slow sometimes. Okay, so I'm going over here, I'm grabbing something, I'm off the screen, and it still just exits. Why? It didn't even display any of this stuff. Well, the reason why is because down here, if the snake is off the screen, we set game exit to be true, but we don't want that. We just want game over to be true. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Now if we run this, perhaps that might fix everything. Let's see. All right, so go over here, grab a snake, exit, and you'll see that this is over here. Now this is actually not really where I'd want this to be, right? We should probably move this up. That's something we could do later. If we press the space bar, okay, nothing happens. Why is nothing happening? I don't know. If you press the Q though, you saw how that quit perfectly. So let's just go that really quickly. And we're gonna go through each one just to make sure that everything works. So the first thing was that if we were to go off the screen, then it should immediately quit. So I'm gonna do that right now. Off the screen, it displays exactly what we asked it to do. Okay, score, whatever it was, exit out the game, works perfectly. Okay, then we're gonna run it again to see if the Q would work. So running it again. This time I'm gonna pick up an apple if I can before I go off the screen. Perfect. So you'll see that the score still saved. Okay, everything works great. I'm pressing Q right now, exits. But if I press the space bar like we did in the beginning, nothing happened. And you know why? It's because although all of these things are initialized all over again, everything is blank slate, what we forgot to do was we have everything stored as sprites or in classes, and we need to reinitialize all of those classes. So if we don't do that, that means that all of these things here, the position of the snake is going to still be saved. So when you go to that game over screen, it's still going to remember where the position of that snake was. And since that position was off the screen, that's technically a game over, and you're just going to keep getting the same game over popping up every second. So to redo all of that, we're going to just completely cut that out. I'm going to come down and I'm going to paste it inside of this loop. Okay, so I'm going to paste it right below here. So we're still outside of the main game loop, but we're still inside of the function. Now if I were to run this, let's see if this would work. Okay, so I'm still going to grab a snake for good measure. I mean, it's a snake and apple, right? We got two, and now we'll just go right off the screen. And if I press the space bar, you see everything works. So it reinitialized where the position of the snake, which should always be in the middle. It randomized the location of the apple. Okay, but now it is because everything is reinitialized, the game would work, not a problem, right? So if I do this here and I go off the screen, I decide to play again, see that the apple was now in another location. Want to do it again, new location, but this will still be right in the middle, right? And if I want to quit it, everything works perfectly fine. So this is how we would do it if we want to have a game over screen. And that's really all I want to cover in today's video. If you like it, please hit the like button. I like to know that the videos are either good or they're bad. If you want to leave a comment about a question, please let me know. Otherwise, see you guys later.